President Aquino has called for more aggressive global effort to address climate change. The president issued the call in his speech at the United Nations Climate Change Summit in New York City. He stressed that the Philippines is not waiting for others to act and is addressing climate change to the maximum with its limited resources. Added details from Ignacio.
President Aquino called for a concerted global action to mitigate the effects of climate change. Speaking before the United Nations Summit on Climate Change 2014 held in New York City, the president pushed for a binding agreement to address the worsening effects of climate change. President Aquino was among the world leaders invited by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to the summit that aims to formulate action by 2015 in order to protect the planet.
The time of debate of whether climate change is real or not is over. There is no doubt that it exists, which is the reason we are all here. It would be wrong, however, to engage in another protracted debate over the individual commitments of countries. To my mind, that would be adopting the wrong framework. Instead, everyone here has to do everything they can to address climate change without first waiting for their neighbors to engage in action.
The chief executive added that the real phase of climate change occurred when Haiyan hit the Philippines, the strongest typhoon that ever made a landfall in recorded history. More than 120 world leaders and heads of government participated in the summit, including U.S. President Barack Obama and United Kingdom Prime Minister David Cameron.
Excellencies, Typhoon Haiyan struck in November of 2013. It was, according to many, the strongest typhoon to ever make landfall in recorded history. Since then, this is the largest meeting of world leaders that have had the privilege of attending. That we are gathered here is a recognition of the stark reality we face as a collective. Climate change does not recognize national boundaries or political or economic affiliations. The choice before us, then, is clear. Together, we must face these challenges and surmount them, or together we will suffer the consequences of inaction. Let the first concrete commitment we make be a change in mindset, from one of our arguing over the division of work to one where we'll do the maximum that we can, always asking, what more can we do?
With more than 20 typhoons that hit the country yearly, the Philippines is considered climate change taker. But President Aquino assured measures to become climate change resilient are in place, such as the implementation of a renewable energy, enhancement of warning devices during inclement weather, and the geohazard map to determine areas prone to flash floods and landslides.
The Philippines is not waiting. We are addressing climate change to the maximum with our limited resources. Legislation has been enacted to lessen the impact of disasters by adopting a comprehensive approach to disaster response. We have empowered our forecasting agencies so that they can give timely warnings to vulnerable communities. For national and local authorities and residents, we have undertaken multi-hazard and geohazard mapping, which is integral to the effective assessment of risk.
Climate change affects the country's economic conditions. The president endorsed a new technology to establish a climate-smart infrastructure.
It would not be an exaggeration to say that Filipinos bear a disproportionate amount of the burden when it comes to climate change. Being less industrialized, we are not a major emitter. Still, even while we work on the fulfillment of our full development potential that remains on the horizon, we see opportunities born of more environmentally progressive policies.
President Aquino hopes that the UN Summit on Climate Change would bring more countries to give their share in mitigating the effect of climate change. For the People's Television, Ignacio, New York City.